This video isn't about our product. It's about a number that came out a few weeks ago, and almost nobody's talking about it yet. Drinking water that's within the legal limit doesn't mean your water is clean anymore. In March of this year, the EPA confirmed that 176 million Americans are drinking tap water that contains chemicals. The government itself is now moving to stop regulating. I'm going to walk you through exactly what that report says, in plain English, with real sources, and what actually works to protect your family, and what's a waste of money. These chemicals are called PFAS. People call them forever chemicals because once they're released into the environment, they don't break down. They're in non-stick cookware, food packaging, firefighting foam, and from there, they move into soil, rivers, and wells. Here's what makes this different from dirty water: you can't see it, taste it, or smell it. The USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey, tested water straight from people's kitchen sinks across the country, not just from reservoirs, and estimated that at least one type of PFAS is present in nearly half of all tap water in the United States. And here's the part that worries people most: 40 million Americans rely on private wells. According to the Associated Press, at least 20 states don't test private wells unless a problem is already suspected. In other words, nobody is going to warn you. You have to find out for yourself. The system tests the reservoir. Nobody tests your faucet. To really understand the scale of this, there's a true story worth telling from a small town in Wisconsin called Stella. A woman there agreed, almost without a second thought, to have her well tested after the state offered free testing to residents in the area. A few months later, she was on the phone with the state toxicologist, being told to stop drinking that water immediately. Here's what nobody expected. Her neighbor, whose backyard sits right at the edge of the same lake, tested his well too, and it came back almost clean. Meanwhile, another family, a bit further back, found contamination levels 1,500 times higher than the federal limit considered safe. That's the most unsettling part. These chemicals don't follow an obvious pattern underground. Two houses right next to each other can be living completely different realities, and the only way to know is to test individually. There's a second problem, separate from PFAS, that's actually even older: lead in the pipes. For years, the official estimate was that roughly 9 million lead service lines were still in use across the United States. Recently, the EPA started reporting a much smaller number: 4 million lead service lines. But pay attention here. The pipes weren't replaced. According to an analysis by the NRDC, the agency simply changed the definition of what counts as a lead service line. Connectors linking the main pipe to a house stopped being counted, even though they can still leach lead into the water passing through them. The pipe is still there. The lead is still there. On paper, the problem just disappeared. Chicago alone has more than 412,000 confirmed or suspected lead lines, the highest concentration of any U.S. city. A Johns Hopkins study estimated that 68% of children under 6 in the city are exposed to lead-contaminated tap water. That's the kind of number that changes how much weight you put on a phrase like, "My water passed the test." Passing a test and being safe long-term aren't always the same thing. You might be thinking, this is a big C, old infrastructure problem, not mine. It's worth understanding both situations. If you're on a private well, testing is 100% your responsibility. No agency is going to knock on your door about it. If you're on a public system, the water does get tested, but remember, passing the city's test often just means it's inside a bureaucratic limit, not that it carries zero risk long-term. So what actually works? It depends on what you're trying to solve. Let's break it down. Look for an NSF or ANSI 53 or 58 certification. If it doesn't carry one of those, it's probably only removing chlorine taste, not PFAS, and not lead. The certification means it was independently tested for that specific job, not just a marketing claim. This is the one that matters when the supply itself fails, like we've seen happen in several cities recently, including Richmond, Virginia, and Jackson, Mississippi. A filter doesn't help you on the day the system simply stops delivering water at all. That's a continuity problem, a quality problem. And there are a few different ways people solve it. Some keep food-grade storage containers and rotate the water every few months. Some keep factory-sealed canned or pouched water with a multi-year shelf life. And some keep both a filter for water quality, plus a reserve for the days the tap doesn't run at all. None of these need to be expensive or complicated. The point is just having more than zero. This is the solution for anyone who wants to step outside the system completely. If the pipe is old, or the aquifer underneath it is already contaminated, the real fix isn't a better filter for that source. It's not using that source at all. An atmospheric water generator skips the middleman entirely and pulls water straight from the air, never touching the aging pipes or the groundwater that's declining across much of the country. According to the UN's water bankruptcy report from this past January, it's not the better option compared to the other two. It's an answer to a different risk, the risk at the source, not the risk in the filter. The main point of this video isn't which product to buy. It's that in 2026, relying only on the phrase, "my water passed the test," is genuinely risky. It's worth knowing exactly what's being tested, what isn't, and having more than one layer of protection. If you're on a private well, you can request a test kit today. Many states offer this for free or for a small fee, especially for PFAS. It's worth finding out before you actually need to. Let me know in the comments, have you ever tested the water where you live? And what did you find? And if this video helped you understand what's actually coming out of your own faucet, share it with someone who should know too. And if you want more breakdowns like this one, real reports, real data, no fluff, that's exactly what this channel is about. So it's worth hitting subscribe.